Hello, Nintendo Wii here, welcome back to Let's Play Retro Games. In today's episode I'm going to be covering two different topics. The first one is speedrunning and the second one is ROM hacks, as you can see in the title. So let's get started by talking about speedrunning. I really loved watching Summer Games Done Quick this year. It was on last week. It's a twice yearly event that runs for a week long, and basically they're raising money for charity and you get to watch people speedrunning some of their favourite retro games. It's always a fantastic event, I always love watching it. This year was no exception, so I've actually picked out a few of my favourite runs that I'm going to mention here, and then talk a bit about some speedrunning that I've been doing. So one thing I really love watching at GDQ is the races. So this is where 2 or 3 different people come together, sit in front of the TV and all speedrun the same game at the same time. One of the speedruns this year was, I think, the first time they've ever done it at GDQ, and that was Celeste. An amazing game. I think I've mentioned it before in my game pickups video. It's out on the Switch, it's out on Steam and PS4 as well, I think. Celeste is an amazing action platforming game and it just lends itself perfectly to speedrunning. Just look at how crazy these guys are when they're running through the game. It was insane to watch, it really was. And the other race that I really enjoyed watching was Super Mario 64. I'm a huge fan of the original Super Mario 64 and to see the game completely broken like that was just crazy. And on the topic of Mario, they actually did a speedrun of Mario Odyssey for the Switch, which again was just crazy to watch. The different stunts and tricks that they were doing throughout the race, it was just insane, it really was. And it really makes me want to go back and play that game again and see if I can do some of the crazy jumps and tricks that they managed to do in the game. Just amazing. The whole week, I tried to watch it as much as I possibly could. If you guys actually watched GDQ, or if you're looking forward to the next one in January, let me know in the comments some of your favourite runs from the event. You can actually go to their YouTube page now and see a lot of them they've uploaded. One I was really excited to watch was actually by Pete Dorr, a really famous YouTuber on here and actually someone who sort of inspired me to start doing my channel in the first place. So it was really great to actually see him at the event. He actually did an Atari Jaguar game for the first time ever at GDQ, and also a Sega 32X game, one of the Spider-Man games. I didn't manage to catch the Jaguar one live, but I did watch the replay of it on YouTube, and it was really cool to see. I love the fact that they show off some of these more obscure games as well. Talking about obscure games, they also do a few ROM hacks, which will sort of bring me on to the second part of this video. They did a ROM hack of Mega Man 2 called Rockman No Constancy. I've been looking at this game for a long time. You can actually buy a physical version of it on Etsy, which I'm really tempted to do. But I also kind of don't like the fact that the money on Etsy doesn't actually go to the people who made the ROM hack, it goes to whoever decided to burn it onto a cartridge and sell it, so not quite sure how I stand with that, but I'm definitely going to be downloading the ROM anyway and give it a go on an emulator. There's a few other ROM hacks that I really would like to get physical versions of. That was GDQ, it was an amazing event. I did actually have a lot more planned, but this video is going to end up being quite long, so all I can say is go back and watch some of the highlights on YouTube, find out some of the games that you're interested in seeing speedruns of. The Sonic speedruns were amazing, the Mega Man speedruns were really cool as well. It was great to see Mega Man 7 and 8 get a speedrun, because you don't really see them ones too often. Now we're having a look at some of the games that I want to speedrun, or some of the games that I have been speedrunning recently. So I did a live stream of Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. It was really great to see so many of you turn up to see that. It was my first time ever doing a live stream, and I think it actually came out really well, so I'll definitely try and do some more in the future. I've got a list of some other retro games that I'd like to try and speedrun at some point. These are basically games that I know I can easily finish, so I'd really like to try and see how much better I can actually get at them. I'm not going to really try and aim for the world record or anything. Although I did actually have the world record on Mario Land about 10 years ago, with a time of around 12 minutes something, but I've tried playing it again since and I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be, so that's one of the reasons why I'm practicing, because I really want to try and get a bit better at Mario Land and get back on them leaderboards. But anyway, some of the other games that I'm thinking about doing in the future, and I'll probably end up doing live streams of them as well if I actually stick to this. Another one I want to do is Castlevania 1 on the NES. I know that's a really difficult game, but I do know that game like the back of my hand, so it shouldn't be too much trouble. Another one, just because I saw the run at GDQ and it was amazing to see, that is Sonic 2. Probably my favourite Sonic game, and I just love all the different shortcuts you can do in it and stuff, so definitely look at trying to do a speedrun of that in the future. Another one is Mega Man 4. My very first Mega Man game, and probably my favourite for that reason alone. It's another game that I can probably draw the entire game out just from memory. I know it off by heart completely, so doing a speedrun again, it should be really fun and breathe some more life into a classic game of mine. And the last game I've got written down here, my favourite game on the Mega Drive, Rocket Knight Adventures. Another game that I saw the speedrun for at GDQ and it just blew me away. Like the tricks they can do on the jetpack and stuff, it just looks so cool and I'd really love to be able to do that myself. So that was the speedrunning part of this video out the way. Now let's talk a little bit about ROM hacks, because it does sort of relate to this, the fact that they did some ROM hacks at GDQ, and I just really wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to start by talking about Mario Land. If you're not fed up with me talking about Mario Land already, I've actually started taking a look at how to hack Mario Land to make my own levels and sprites for it. And it's actually going fairly smoothly. I'm really surprised at how easy it actually is to do. There's loads of resources out there. There's a level editor, there's a tile sheet editor. It all comes together really, really nicely, and I'd actually really like to get an EverDrive so that I could burn the level that I'd made back onto the actual cartridge and play it on the actual Game Boy. I sort of managed to do it by putting it onto the Retro Freak, but it's not quite the same thing as actually having it in your hand and playing what you've made. So I did actually buy some graph paper as well, so I am taking this fairly seriously and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in to making some really cool Mario Land levels. And when I'm done, I'll make another video to announce to you guys that the ROM's available for download, and that will be in the description of whatever video that is. But don't expect it anytime soon. I'm definitely going to take my time with it, because I do have a lot of other things I want to do as well. And a lot of other ROM hacks that I want to look into doing. I would love to do a Mega Man ROM hack at some point, because Capcom sort of promised that people would be able to make their own Mega Man levels in Mega Man Universe, which never came about, so I think ROM hacking would be the next best thing for that sort of thing. So I'm really going to be looking into that, but probably not until a lot later in the year. Really focusing on Mario Land at the minute. I've really got back into it big time. And talking about ROM hacks for the Game Boy, there's a few that you can actually pick up on Etsy. Well, there's a few really good ones that are actually out there online for you to download at the minute. If you saw my live stream, one of the really, really cool ones that I definitely recommend everyone go and check out is Super Mario Land 2 DX. It's a complete recolouring of Mario Land 2 to let it play in the Game Boy Color, and it looks incredible. I'll put the website in the description so you can go and have a look, but I was absolutely blown away when the first time I saw it. Completely mind-blowing stuff. It must have took them years to actually recreate it for the Game Boy Color, and I'd love to get a physical copy of it at some point as well. And there's another ROM hack that I really, really want. I did download the ROM for it, but again, they've got a really nice collector's edition sort of thing on Etsy that you can buy. And that is not Rockman No Constancy, it's a different Mega Man hack. A hack of my favourite Mega Man game, Mega Man 4, and that's called Rockman Minus Infinity. And it just looks amazing. It's a complete remake of the entire game, all new levels. They brought in some enemies and some different objects and hazards from some of the previous Mega Man games. It's really amazing what they managed to do, so I'd definitely like to get a physical copy of that at some point in the future. So that's it for me. Let me know in the comments what sort of ROM hacks you guys like. If you've got any recommendations, definitely for the Game Boy, if I'm going to be picking up the EverDrive. It'd be really great to download some of them and give them a go. And some homebrew games as well, but I'm actually saving that for another video in the future. So let me know what ROM hacks you like. Let me know what speedruns you enjoyed as well. If you've ever tried speedrunning before, let me know what games it was and what sort of times you got, and whether you're still into it or not. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up, don't forget to leave a comment down below, don't forget to press subscribe and everything else you need to do. And I'm also on Patreon, as you can see in the description. So until next week, goodbye.